Hey, we're the Angels, and for this presentation, we're going to be talking about how social media is playing a role in this upcoming election. Today, technology is growing tremendously and is beginning to take over our lives. As technology grows, social media sites such as Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and Snapchat must keep up with advancements and are beginning to play a bigger role in our lives. One topic in particular that keeps coming up is how social media is playing a role in the upcoming election. In an article published July 18, 2016 on the Pew Research Center, in 1 week, quote, 44% of the U.S. adults reported having learned about the 2016 presidential election from social media, end quote. No longer is social media sites used between friends just to communicate and talk with one another. It has grown into something bigger. It is a place to inform people on what is going on around them, whether it be positive, negative, true, or false. And therefore, people are beginning to rely more on social media to keep them in the loop. Social media is a form of free advertisement for candidates. In a research done by Pew Research Center, during this election, quote, Trump's social reach would cost $380 million, end quote, while Clinton would total to $100 million. This is saying how candidates were to pay this much if candidates were to have to pay for their tweets. This is the average spending that they would have to pay for. Social media also allows candidates to communicate directly with their followers, and therefore they will receive feedback in a matter of seconds, some being positive, others being negative. On a website, South University, in an article published October 5, 2012, it stated, quote, a candidate may have 1 million subscribers but will reach 10 million or 100 million people because of its viral effect, end quote. Social media is like a domino effect. All it takes are views, likes, retweets before the number of people who've seen something has multiplied. And candidates use this in their favor to reach the public. Candidates aren't alone, however. Celebrities use social media as well to boost and show support for their favorite candidate. In an article written by content and online PR executive Sean McMahon, published on April 5, 2016 on socialmediaweek.org, it discusses how Clinton especially has, quote, benefited greatly from celebrity endorsements on platforms like Instagram, end quote. Kim Kardashian is one of Kim Kardashian's posts was very popular that went around, and it showed her as well as her husband Kanye West full support for Clinton. The article then goes on to say how a post by Clinton of a link to an interview with One Direction was, quote, retweeted nearly 60,000 times, end quote. This goes to show how celebrities contribute to the popularity of candidates. This topic brings up a lot of controversy. Some people argue that social media is misleading in displaying candidates through pictures and other people's opinions. Twitter is an example in how it leaves a big window open for people to voice their thoughts, and without doing any research themselves, followers are prone to listen and follow in their footsteps. Pamela, later in the presentation, will go into more detail about this. On the other hand, some may argue that it plays a positive role in the election, allowing candidates to show the public why they should vote for them, and allows followers to see what their candidates are doing and involved in. For the younger generation who may not pay attention to much of the election, social media gives them an idea and updates them. And I will now give it to Victoria to expand upon this.
Okay, so these are some pictures that I found on the internet just by being on social media and not even looking for anything about the election. This is the most interesting one. It's actually a statement from Trump's wife, and it's also a statement from Hillary Clinton, and they're basically the same statement, but in different words. And these are all tweets from Trump and from Hillary. And okay, in our rapidly advancing world, technology has become our go-to. According to TurboFuture.com in 2015, quote, studies show that the average person spends more time on their phone and computer than they do sleeping, end quote. Knowing that, social media seems to be the perfect way to inform people, especially young adults. Some pros of social media are that voter participation is increased, Facebook feeds influence voting patterns, and social media is more powerful than traditional media. and it has greater speed in announcing worldwide news. With traditional media, you have to choose to learn about a topic by tuning in, but with social media, you're forced to learn the facts because it popped on your timeline or your newsfeed. Social media also combines education and entertainment. The top news source for 27% of Americans is social media, and it's also the cheapest way to advertise for candidates. People are heavily influenced by friends and family, and according to socialnetworkingprocon.org, quote, Facebook users reported that they are more likely to vote if they see on social networking sites that their friends did, end quote. And also in social media, status updates drive civil conversations. And politicians build relationships with their voters. And another pro by the University of Nottingham suggests that, quote, social media can increase youth political interest, end quote. And it just gives them constant information, making them knowledgeable about political topics. And now Pamela will introduce the cons.
Many people from our generation have become lazy. Nowadays, we would rather be sleeping or watching Netflix. Doing extra work, looking on what's going on in the election can be a hassle. But we shouldn't get lazy. Many people around the world don't have the right to vote, but we do, so we should take advantage of it. According to the HuffPost.org, quote, there are countries in this world which voting is not a citizen's right. No matter who is listening or who you think is listening, exercise your right to vote, end quote. Many voters believe their vote doesn't count, and they are wrong. Despite the Electoral College electing the president directly, every vote counts. It just counts in complex ways that differ by election, state, and region. Many people nowadays rely on social media. Many consider that their newspaper in a way. They find out what's going on in the world that way. But not all the information on social media is correct. The information during debates can be overwhelming to hear. But we should find other ways to understand what's going on or what exactly they're saying. When we look at the hashtags on social media. Many click on them and read other people's opinion about it. Right now, especially, people don't know who to vote for. They know they don't want to vote for Donald Trump, but don't want to vote for Hillary. Many back then wanted to vote for Bernie Sanders, but right now he's not on the ballot. Celebrities have a big influence on voters. Many pass their opinion, and once we intake the information, our views can change. And in this picture, you can see Ansel Elgort from the Fault in Our Stars movie, posted on Instagram, quote, when the paparazzi came to set today, NYC, I decided to give them something to photograph. Hashtag fuck Trump. Register to vote at vote.gov, end quote. And in here you can see how many people in our society actually don't think their vote counts, but it really does. And in this chart, it's polls versus mentions. In this chart, you can see how the number of times a candidate's full name appear on the internet. Agreements between media's intention and candidate's standing in polls. You can see the red represents the polls and the blue also represents the polls, and then the gray represents how media mentions them. And then now here's Alejandro to talk.
So, according to an article by Matthew Cushion, quote, data from a web survey of college students showed significant positive relationships between attention and traditional internet sources and political self-efficiency and situational political involvement, quote. This article states that youth interacts with politics due to social media awareness, which is basically saying that the youth gets more involved with politics because of social media, because social media makes them become more aware of it. And in some ways, many are still children. They do not have adult commitments or responsibilities. So this is basically saying that some youth voters are still mature and that they will vote based off what they see on social media. It's not going to be a valid vote because they're not going to be voting based off valid information. And a solution for this could be creating a blog and in the vlog, like it would be all like nothing but political talk and all valid information, and the vlog will only be available to voters 18 and older. And we could also ban all political talk from social media, which includes memes, videos, and any false accounts, anything that has to do with politics. And then how we can relate. So 46 million young people ages 18 through 29 years old are eligible to vote, while 39 million seniors are eligible to vote. Young people make up 21% of voting eligible population in the U.S. So the number of all voters can make a greater impact. Every vote can make a difference no matter what age. And it is in our hands to make social media a positive, reliable, and valid source. This concludes our presentation.